Okay, Dad, what I want to do is kind of give you an example of part of my trading plan. So what we're looking at here is the US dollar against the Japanese yen. And as you can see here today, it's kind of made a nice little run, and now it's kind of turning, and I'm going to look to short this. So first thing I need to do is figure out when I'm going to get in and what I'm going to get out. So the bottom here, if it gets below this green bar right here, I'm going to want to short it. So what I do is say, okay, here's where I'm going to get in, and I can drag this up, and then up here is where I would get out. So it shows me the price that I would be looking at. So what I do is I write that down, um, which I've just done. And then what I do is I go to my Forex position sizer, which is this here. So what I do is I write down, put in the numbers that I just wrote down, which was this, and then the price. Um, whoops, it's that, and then the price that I want to get out. Then I put how much do I want to risk. For $2, it'll tell me how much I need to buy, or I short rather. So it's a total of 0.27 lots. Think of it as 27 shares. I'm going to do that into two different cells, which is 13 and 13. So I don't know my entry yet, so I got to take that out. But let me set this aside now, and let me go ahead and put in the orders. And so what that looks like is this comes up, and so it was 13 and 13. So I'm going to put in 13 and just short there, and then I'm going to put in another one and short it again. So now what you can see down here is now I've got right in here, you can see my two orders, 13 shares, 13 shares. Shows the price that I got in at. That's the price I shorted it at. So now the next thing I need to do is put in my stop losses. So I can limit my loss. So what I do then is I go in here and I modify it, and I put my loss in as 102.453, and I hit that, and so you can see it put in this red line. So if the price bounces back up there, I'm out. It'll just take me out automatically. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing on my other one. Is 102.453. And so now my other stop loss is in there. Down here, it keeps a running total of where I am. So I'm down 27 cents on each one. Below that, that's I'm shorting the Australian dollar. It's a different trade. I'm up 48 cents on those two there. Next thing I do is I go back into here, and I need to record the actual price that I shorted it at, which was the 102.402, which is this right here. That's the price that I actually did. So then the next thing I do, I've set the stop. So now I need to put, where do I want to take profits? So the profit I want to take for half of it is at 102.30. So I'll take this, set it aside, and I'll go into here, and I'll say I want to take profit at 102.30. Put that in there. So as you can see here, here's my stop, and then here's where I would take an initial profit. So you can see I'm risking this much and trying to get this much. And essentially I've set this as a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Now how far do I think it can go? Well, it could go. You can see where it went up and it pulled back, went up, pulled back, and then took off. So I'm going to say we can back out a little bit more. And the other target, I would say it definitely can't go any lower than, say, this area here. You can see it went up, it pulled back, and then it went up. Excuse me. So, not being a Hassa, I mean, but if it pulls back and down into here, and I hit this first target, I'm going to move my stop to break even with the second half that I bought, and I'll go for a big target. So I think that big target's going to be probably somewhere in there, which you can see is 102.130. So I will put in that target in here as 102.130, and I'll put that in there. So here's the first target, profit target. Here's the second profit target. That's all I'm risking. I risked $2 on the trade, so if this completely goes against me and takes that out, in theory, if I did the calculations right, that total right there will end up being a $2 loss. And okay, you tip your hat to the market, and whatever happens, happens. What I do then next is I go in here and I set my target, which was the 102, 113. And so it shows me if I hit target 1, I will lock in $1.36 in profit. So remember, I was risking $2. I'll make $1.36. If I hit my second target, I'll make $3.63. And so it'll be a total of about $5 that I made, which is 2.5 times the amount that I originally risked. So it's all about risk and reward. And so now we just have to wait for this to play out. So I'll go ahead and pause this, and we'll come back later. If I can. Oh, yeah, there's the pause button. Okay, so I'm back. The trade hasn't really done anything. It's kind of gone sideways since I got into it. But you can see right now I'm down about a total of about 50 cents. I remember I risked about $2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a line, so it draws a line where I got into the trade. So I got into it right there. So you can see everything to the right is what's happened since I got into the trade. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it again, and we'll come back after it's done a little bit more. All right. Ciao for now. Okay, a little bit of an update. It's been about, 15 minutes since I signed off, and you can see it's kind of drifting against me. Hasn't stopped out. Now, even though the stop is up here, it's going to stop if this gets really above the top of this green bar right here. That's when it stops out. But because there's a spread in the Forex currency, I have to actually set the stop up here. But right down here, you can see right now I'm down a total of about $1.07. So we'll let this play out a little bit longer and see what happens. I'll be back in a little while. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the recording again. That the dollar yen is continuing to grind a little higher. Basically, if it gets above this green bar right here, I should get out. I'm giving it a little bit of room above that. But if that's the case, then you'll see if it hits the stop, all of these lines here are all going to disappear. I'll be out of the trade. Right here you can see I'm down about $1.45. Remember the original risk was about $2. It's not a perfect science, but um, it is an approximation of the risk. So um, we'll just sit here for a couple of minutes and see if it'll stop out or not. I only have about 4.5 minutes left in this recording, so it's hard to say whether or not this is going to play out in the next 4.5 minutes, but we'll see. It's also the day before, a major holiday. Tomorrow's Good Friday, so I imagine, trading is going to not be very volatile right now. Um, stock market closes here in the U.S. in about a half an hour. So people have kind of wound down there. So I don't necessarily see anything happening. And there is you calling, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this again. Okay, so it's been probably close to an hour since I came by. You can see this has just been going sideways since I got in. Now we're starting to see a little bit of crack in the armor. Hopefully this will follow through and make it down here to the first target. But it's a slow moving market right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and we'll come back to it in a little bit. All right. Okay, quick little update here. You can see there was some pretty crazy volatility right here in the yen. I'm not sure what happened at that moment. But right now it's trying to figure out what to do. So it was some kind of news, something, it made it pop higher, made it go lower, then it kind of came back in, went up to the point where I bought it, now it's kind of rolled back over again. So you can see it didn't quite almost get to my take profit, and that's why you set the take profit targets, because if you get a move like that, I mean, that could have easily just bam hit that, and I would have had my profit. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it again, and we'll come back in a little while. Okay, it's probably been close to another hour since the last update. As you can see, I mean, we had a nice move up, and now it's just going dead sideways right around the point where I shorted. So I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a little while. Okay, so I'm back, and this trade finally resolved itself. As you can see, this green line represents where I got in. This red line was going to be my stop. It had been, and then here's where I was going to take my initial profit. It kind of just bounced around sideways, and then it kind of came up here, and it tagged my stop. So now what I'll do is I'll go down to my account history and see what I lost. And if you remember, the original risk was $2. And here I lost $1.09 on half of it, $1.04 on the other. So my total loss on the trade was $2.13. So again, it's not an exact science, but I did contain the loss to what I said I was going to contain it to. And this trade is over. So you win some, you lose some, and that's it until next time. This is Dave signing off.